One of the most complex and challenging things about the human experience is that growth does not always feel as good as we think that it should. We think that making healthier choices, that doing things to make ourselves feel happier and achieve our goals in the long run is going to feel good every single step of the way. And we would love for our feelings to be the dictator of how we're meant to navigate life, right? If something feels really, really good, maybe we should go towards that thing. But your good feelings are not your intuition. And sometimes when we align with our soul purpose, our highest timeline, our higher self, or our soul mission, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes aligning with your deepest soul wisdom and becoming the version that you were always meant to be, stepping into that healthiest and happiest routine and lifestyle and absolutely everything about you, sometimes there is pain involved. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that you have to go through pain in order to get there. That's a huge misconception. So often people think that you have to go into the shadows, into the trauma, into the inner child pain and talk about that more and cycle all of that pain more and more and more until you can finally learn the lessons from all of that pain so you can step into the light. And that is actually false. And we know that that is false. If you want to get more confident wearing red, you wouldn't wear every other color other than red to get more confident wearing red. You would just go wear red. If you want to be healthier and happier, we wouldn't focus on all of the things that make us unhealthy and unhappy. We would just do more of what makes us feel healthy and happy. I love shadow work, but I am a huge, huge advocate for light work. We don't have to go into the pain in order to feel lighter. You don't have to go into what's weighing us down in order to let go of the weight and feel lighter and more radiant in life. That being said, our emotions are part of our nervous system, and your nervous system gets wired throughout your life. Over time, your nervous system runs on patterns because that's what costs the least amount of energy for your body. Can you imagine if your brain and your body had to come up with a new reaction for every single thing that you were doing? It just wouldn't happen. That's why we experience a lot of the same emotions and a lot of the same thoughts. And a really, really common thought that so many of my clients have experienced who, and I say this because my clients inspire me so, so much. People in my community, people in my circle are so inspiring. There are people who choose to rise, who do things even if they don't understand exactly what they're doing, just because they're blindly following their intuition and their self-trust. And that is so inspiring to me. And I admire people who do that so, so deeply. That takes so much courage and so much confidence. And having that type of bravery and that type of confidence to be able to say, hey, I don't like my morning routines, or I don't like the way that I do this, or I don't like the way that I think about X, Y, or Z, and I want to change that. Having that type of courage and confidence means that there's going to be some discomfort. Because the reason that you're stuck in those old morning routines, those old rituals, those old behaviors, is because that is what is comfortable for your nervous system. Your nervous system, and I stay with me here because I know this is kind of like hard for the brain to understand. If you have only been in toxic relationships, imagine what is more painful to you, a toxic relationship or a healthy one. It's actually going to be a healthy one because your nervous system is familiar with a toxic relationship. So getting home from work and having your partner say, wow, you wore that to work, you're like, oh, usual, that's normal, right? And being in a healthy relationship is actually uncomfortable for your nervous system. Imagine if you get home from work and that's what you've heard every single time for your whole life. That's what you've seen amongst your parents, et cetera, et cetera. And you get home from work and you have a partner that goes, wow, thank you for working so hard for our family. I really deeply appreciate you. Do you think that you would be able to receive that? No way. You would start to judge that person. Your nervous system would be on red flag high alert, as if there's a robber in your house, because your nervous system is not used to that. And this is why inner work is so important. We need to get our nervous system used to what we want, and then the world is going to respond to it. I always share this with my clients, and they will always share back like, yes, you are so right. This is exactly how it works. You don't have to always tell the whole world your boundaries and the things you're changing and things like that. You can just embody that energy so deeply in your heart, so deeply radiating from you without having to say anything, that people can feel it and people will just naturally respect your boundaries. People will naturally start to treat you the way that you want to be treated. The opportunities that you are trying to magnetize, you will naturally be able to magnetize them. But there's a little bit of an uncomfortable period, and that's what we're talking about here in this video. That uncomfortable period of choosing to sign up for something that you don't exactly know how it's going to change you or what it's going to do for you. And sometimes having regret. I worked with someone recently and said that who told me that they get so excited to make a purchase, but then afterwards they'll regret it. They'll ask for a refund. They get buyer's remorse. Like they have this massive excitement and then this massive fall of self-trust. And this is where we get to learn how to regulate, because that is actually harmful for our soul to do things like that. So if you're in that pattern, please send me a message, comment down below so that we can further support you, because that is a really, really harmful pattern to be in. The goal is to be able to breathe, right? If you made a decision to get a coffee and then you don't want that coffee anymore, be kind to yourself, breathe, remind yourself, there was a part of me that led me to here. And I'm not going to hate on that part of me for the rest of the day, for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be my number one bully and say, how could you get that coffee? You should have known better. No. What's really happening, and the reason that our brain and our nervous system is doing that, is because there's a part of our nervous system called the inner child that is scared. It's scared. It's scared to go get another coffee because you didn't like the last one. It's scared to now make any other decision that day because you can't even make a decision about a coffee. There is a part of your nervous system that is scared. And when we feel regretful of our decisions, or when we experience self-doubt, or when we have that nervous feeling come up when you know that you're doing something that is for you. I literally experienced this myself because I am also a human being. And I also have that weird thing called a human brain. And when I make choices for myself that expand my nervous system and I know are in my highest alignment, I literally just experienced this. Investing in myself, in my growth, in my journey. And immediately after the money was taken out of my account, I went, did I do the right thing? And I was reminded, oh yeah, that's part of the human experience. And we won't ever get there if we don't have the courage to allow ourselves to take that step. I'm so grateful to get to experience the nervous feeling of knowing that I'm about to step into a new version of myself, rather than the feeling that I'm going to have for the rest of my life wondering what it would feel like, wondering what it would be like, wondering what that weekend trip would have given me that I was so scared to take, wondering what that coaching session would have showed me that I was so scared to invest in because it was more expensive than anything I've ever purchased before. There is a lot of energy that moves through us, and energy is thoughts, emotions, any impulse running through your nervous system. It can be things that you can't even articulate, just like sensations that you're having. But I want you to know that the true energy of abundance is movement of energy. There is so much more abundance of life in a flowing river. If you go and look, like as, I don't know, environmental scientist or a marine I don't know what type of person would go and look in detail on a microscopic level of like what's in a flowing river, but you're going to find microscopic animals, you're going to find snails on the rocks, you're going to find fish, you're going to find all these different things. There's going to be bears that come and fish in the river and all of this stuff, versus Imagine like a stagnant puddle that if there's any little, like I can just go like that and suddenly the whole puddle is like rocking and you're like, oh my God, what's going on? Right? We want to get used to being a flowing river. We want to get used to having all of this energy flowing through us. Good things, bad things, positive, negative, all of these different thoughts. And it's all okay because it's just the river of the mind. When we can get more confident in our bodily energetics, our thoughts don't matter so much. Overthinking is not the end of the world. It's just what my brain is doing. But there's all this other stuff that's going on in my world right now. I don't even have to pay attention to it. So I wanted to share this with you because so often we fear that nervous feeling or we allow that self-doubt to run the show instead of our intuition. And once we know that what we're actually experiencing when we have that nervous feeling and that uncomfortable growth, when we know that it's actually fear, then you are in a completely new playing field. Then you can specifically ask for the support that you need. You can vocalize your fear. You can work on letting go of your fear using all different sorts of somatic practices, connecting with your intuition, your inner light. If you're working on finding practices that can help you get started with this, I have a complete library of practices to support you that result in an instant transformation as well as a lifelong sustainable change, feeling more deeper trust in yourself. All you have to do to access my library and my complete membership is check out the description box down below. You can find more information there. If you are feeling typically very nervous, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-trust issues, I would also recommend that you download my Mystical Lifestyle Guide. This outlines the common energetic blockages, the things that are blocking that soul clarity from flowing through you, that soul confidence, the soul confidence that is you, that you were born with, that's your birthright. That free guide is going to help you tap into that unshakable soul confidence and that inner wisdom. So you can check out more information about that in the description box down below as well. I would like to ask you if you could please subscribe to my channel wherever it is that you're catching this video. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. It really, really does help me. And comment your biggest takeaways down in the comments down below. I love to hear your reflections, and I'm so grateful to have you a part of this community. I will see you in our next video, and until then, so much love, blessings, and light being sent your way.